live from the Richard Harris Law Firm studios. This is the VGK Insiders Show.
Now they're going to drop the gloves. Kraus and Lozon. Kraus, they square off. Now they engage. Left jab, a right cross from Lozon. Kraus just wailing away. Oh! Lozon drops Kraus with one stiff right cross.
With Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Welcome in, Vegas Golden Knights Insider Show, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Ryan Wallace, Jered Justice, hanging out inside the Richard Harris Law Firm studios. One more day between now and the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. That will get started on Saturday. A trio of games on Saturday in the National Hockey League. The Golden Knights will open up their playoff slate on Sunday when they take on the Utah Mammoth. We now have a game time. It'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop, Utah-Vegas on Sunday. And for the Golden Knights, it's an opportunity once again to hit the playoffs and go on a deep run. Practice earlier today, a lot of pace in their game. Obviously, things looked as we'd expect from the Vegas Golden Knights leaning into this opening round matchup against the Utah Mammoth. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Kelly McCrimmon also addressed the media ahead of the playoff matchup for the Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth. We'll get to Kelly in a little bit as well. We've got Megan Chakya from Stathletes joining us at 5 p.m. One-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League. That'll hit you at 5:30. And, oh, by the way, the Padda Hockey Parlay Contest. That's right. We are extending the Hockey Parlay Contest. $1,300. It is an opportunity for you to win $1,300 if you pick 3 games correctly. The 3 games that we give you, you will be $1,300 richer. Jered, you're looking at me intently. What's going on? Oh, we got Daren?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Can you not hear me?
No, not at all. I couldn't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Well, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I had to reset everything briefly in here, and I was trying to scramble to get it up and running because I knew I couldn't miss today. On the eve of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the National Hockey League, all the matchups determined and everything that we can get into from a VGK perspective, a full practice today at City National Arena where there was incredible energy as the Golden Knights go into the 8th Stanley Cup postseason in 9 years. Mm-hmm. There's just so much excitement. I couldn't miss it. So I wouldn't say I gave it an extra effort, but I persevered a little bit longer than I normally would have.
So, like in hockey speak, this was you digging deep in the third period?
Yeah, this is being prepared to play right off the bat. Even after a challenging
right off the bat,
first shift, I stuck with it and found a way to have some momentum going into the second intermission.
Can you explain to me how right off the bat and having a tough first shift are compatible?
Compatible?
Yeah.
How they're different, or they're
no?
The
How
same?
are they compatible? Like you said, it was being ready to play right off the bat, and then having a really tough shift. So
what if I give a puck away and they get a 2-on-1 and they ring it off the post and everybody's looking at me and going, "Nice pizza up the middle."
Right? Yeah.
Are you not ready to play?
Yeah.
Well,
you wouldn't be ready
wasn't.
to play.
So, but I got to make sure that I'm better my next shift,
okay.
and then be better going forward. And then by the time we get to the second intermission, people are like, "Yeah, he's good."
Wow, that Millard.
He's back.
What an athlete. What an athlete.
Well, what do we call it?
Potential athlete.
Potential athlete.
Yeah. Love it.
Which is like, that's not a slag, a self-slag either.
No.
I'm a great potential athlete. Like, if you saw me volley in tennis or hit a golf ball or play hockey or take a ground ball, you would look at me and go, he's got some skill. Mm-hmm. Now, can I do it at any type of high level? Hockey, I'm closer, but I don't hit it very far in golf. I have a very suspect forehand in tennis. So there's limitations, but on the surface, I can take a ground ball, and I can make it look like I can play. But if that ground ball's humming at all, you know those ground balls where you can hear the ball?
Yeah.
I'm pulling up on it. I'm not able to make that play. There's limitations, but first blush, I'm okay.
Have you tried pickleball?
I have not, but my wife has started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I have held off on pickleball.
Why?
Injuries.
No.
No.
Come on.
No injuries. Everybody
you don't have
I know,
to move.
That is wrong.
That
Everybody I
is
know
not
that
wrong.
plays pickleball
Okay.
has suffered some kind of ailment, whether it's I got knee pain or whether it's a little bit more significant, like an Achilles injury or a shoulder injury that you need surgery on. So I'm holding off on the pickleball until I get to my later years.
Yeah, because
tennis,
getting
I'm
injuries
more
when
used
you're
to it.
when you're older makes a lot of sense.
But I don't have to guard against anything. I don't want to play pickleball right now because I don't want to ruin my golf season. I don't want to play pickleball right now because I don't want it to affect my hockey season.
But think about it. If you don't specialize, you might become a better potential athlete.
No. I gotta protect against my go-tos.
Okay.
Protect my go-tos. That's why. Yeah, pickleball sounds incredible because I love. Don't laugh. I love badminton.
Really?
I can play badminton all day long. And when my kids were at that age in middle school, and you'd have tryouts, so we had friends that had access to the school gym beside us in Canada, and we would go and we would play badminton for hours. I love badminton, so pickleball would be similar to me in that form.
You want to know my favorite thing about pickleball is that if you hit somebody with the ball and they can't play the point, you get the point. Like it's a sport where you are encouraged to try to hit people with the ball.
Tennis is the same
Love
thing.
it. No, I know, but I have a better chance of hitting people with the ball. I love that aspect of it.
I love in tennis where you hit them and then you have to apologize.
Yeah, you don't
Sorry.
have to apologize in pickleball.
Sorry about that.
Just
And
go to the
people
net and
that
brawl.
have done that and haven't acknowledged, the opponent gets sour. It's caused disruptions. Same with if you hit the net cord on a rally and it just falls over and you get the point. It's like you have to apologize. Like, I never understood that. Why am I apologizing? Because I got a break.
Yeah, sorry for gravity.
The apologizing for hitting somebody or acknowledging it, that I get. But the net cord flip over and getting the point and apologizing, like, no.
I don't think you need to apologize for hitting somebody with a tennis ball or pickleball. I say go all in, be the heel.
Well, 16 teams in the Stanley Cup playoffs, if you go by the all-in scenario where this team A thinks that they can win the Stanley Cup, how many out of 16 are in that neighborhood?
Well,
go through them right now.
okay, so we'll start with the obvious one, Colorado. You have this season that they had President's Trophy winners, and I know that it's not been a great track record for President's Trophy winners winning a Stanley Cup, but Colorado's right there. I'd put Dallas and Minnesota in that ilk as well.
What about L.A.?
No. Because I don't think LA's getting out of the first round. Like, as much as I can sit here and be like, yeah, Anze Kopitar final season, maybe there's something LA does in this opening. No, I don't think LA's legitimate contender here.
I think that series goes 6.
It might, but I don't think LA's winning it.
If it goes 6, I give them a chance to win it.
Are you calling that your upset of the playoffs? Like, do you think LA's winning that series?
I think they can. I'm not going to say that they will win the series. I don't know anybody who would go out on a limb and say the LA Kings are going to get past the Colorado Avalanche.
Right.
But I don't see it as an impossibility like a lot of 1 versus 8s would be. So you have Colorado. What about Dallas, Minnesota?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of them are contenders. The problem is one of them's going to be out in the first round.
No. We're just looking at those teams.
Yeah.
Vegas, Utah.
I view Vegas in that lens. I'm not there with Utah yet.
Edmonton, Anaheim.
Probably the same thing. I can view Edmonton through that lens just because they've been there the last couple of years. Draisaitl, when he comes back, if he's fully healthy or at least closer to that, I think it changes things. I don't know about Anaheim because I just think that there's a lot that leaves them susceptible, especially in a 7-game series in playoff hockey. So I'll go Edmonton, yes. Anaheim, no.
In the East, Tampa, Montreal.
Oh man, Tampa, yes. Montreal, I'm getting closer to it, but no, I'm not there with Montreal.
Carolina, Ottawa.
I see both of them. Well, no, this is going to be a hot take. Give me Ottawa, yes. Carolina, no. Until
you don't think Carolina
no.
would? You think Carolina would be a surprise Stanley Cup champion?
I don't. I know they had a good regular season, but there's something about the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round of the playoffs where they just fall apart.
I think Carolina believes that they're there.
They can
win a Stanley Cup.
I think they believed it last year, and the year before that, and the year before that.
I do not see Carolina anybody with a better chance than Carolina. Maybe teams have the same opportunity, but I don't see anybody with a significant edge over Carolina coming out of that East. What about Pittsburgh, Philadelphia?
I don't view either one of them as a contender. I would be surprised if Pittsburgh or Philadelphia won a Stanley Cup.
Okay, I'm putting Carolina for sake of this debate. I'm gonna over.
You can put Carolina in there. That's fine. I like Ottawa a lot, and we didn't even do Buffalo or Boston.
And
I think Buffalo can go on a run. I'd be surprised. Same thing with Boston. Of the two, give me Buffalo.
Okay, so you think Boston could go to a final?
No, I think Buffalo could. I don't think Boston can.
All right, so that gives you 9 teams.
Okay.
That are all in.
Yeah. Is that about what you expected?
Philly, Pittsburgh, Boston, Anaheim, Utah, LA. As teams that are not going into this thinking Stanley Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fair. 9 out of 16 go into this thing thinking they can win.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
That's an incredible number.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, I think some of the 9 are certainly going to be more, I think, have a clearer path or make more sense. But I think that there are legitimately 9 teams that can look at this and say, this can be our year, for sure.
LA is a different team than they were most of the season. I will give them that. But Utah, Anaheim, breaking new ground. Pittsburgh should get more respect than I think they are receiving because of their goaltending. And Philadelphia is ahead of schedule. And Boston, I don't really know what Boston, how to characterize Boston. Because they had such great success and then had a reset. So do you judge them on where they were on the reset, or do you judge them on that core being so experienced?
You know, the thing for Boston that I think is interesting is something that you talked about with Winnipeg. Like if the Jets went on a run and got in, even if it was as the second wildcard team, there's a lack of pressure to a certain degree. And you go back to Boston, they had a tremendous regular season, won the President's Trophy, lost in 7 games in the first round to the eventual Stanley Cup final representative in the Florida Panthers. And it was one of those scenarios that felt like it was a backbreaker, organizationally speaking. And I wonder now, in a year where not many people expected the Bruins to be in the postseason, and they've got an inexperienced team in playoff hockey in the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. This could be an opportunity for Buffalo or for Boston to put together a run. Mm-hmm. Like there's a path there, but like you, I'm not really sure how far I think that path goes, because if you tell me it's Boston, Tampa in the second round, I'm picking Tampa all day long.
So we know the Vegas Golden Knights schedule now. Yesterday we were aware of the series starting against Utah on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Didn't have a face-off time for that one, but now we do. Game 1 will kick off at 7 o'clock on Sunday at T-Mobile Arena. Game 2 follows the every second day schedule that will feature a game on Tuesday. And then it gets a little loose.
Yeah, it does.
2 days between game 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. So Salt Lake City will see its first Stanley Cup playoff game on Friday, April 24th. And then there's another 2-day break between game 3 and 4. And then you get into your regular every second day between 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gap between games 2 and 3 and 3 and 4, that's going to be a challenge for the team with momentum going into that stretch of games to be able to jump on that. So whoever's in the lead at that point, that will be a challenge, and it's going to be good for the team that is trailing in the series. If they are trailing, if it ends up being 2-0 coming out of Vegas, or when it's 2-1 or 3-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting because you get right into it in the sense that you get every day, first 2 games, get into a rhythm, and then those 2-day breaks break up the rhythm over the course of games 3 and 4. But I do think that you can look at it that way, right? Like if it doesn't go your way early on in the series, or if you find yourself down in the series, or one team is playing better through the first 2 or 3 games, there's a built-in reset to a certain degree in games 3 and 4. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams navigate that.
And keep in mind, for those that are going to the games in Vegas, it is a 7 o'clock start on Sunday. Yeah. But it's a 6:30 start on Tuesday. And if you're looking for tickets, single game playoff tickets and the first round strip of tickets where you can get the same seat for every one of the home games at T-Mobile Arena are on sale right now over at VegasGoldenKnights.com, and navigate it through that way. Opportunity to get in to see the Vegas Golden Knights in this first round series against the Utah Mammoth. You were at practice today. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, a lot of pace, obviously, right? You did see Tortorella, just in terms of the line rushes, go with Marner, Eichel, and Stone as a trio. Howden alongside Barbashev and Dorofeev, which is a look that I like a lot. Now, I don't know how married I would get to what those combinations look like in practice, because I think that what we've seen out of Tortorella specifically is that he's not afraid to kind of move some things around. He's got 3 sets of lines or top line iterations.
I have a theory on that, by the way.
On why they practice that way today?
Why they skated that way today.
Yeah, what's that?
Marner, Eichel, and Stone have played together as a unit the least amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Getting more familiar with touches.
If you've got just a practice and you're going through it that way, just be more familiar with each other.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think that's a good way of looking at it. But again, I think just the reality is that you're going to see different combinations from John Tortorella based on what the game gives you on Sunday and as we get deeper into the series. But yeah, a lot of pace, good energy in the practice today. You could tell, right? It just feels like everyone's a little bit more excited to get themselves going for the postseason.
I watched with the people today.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You even had a conversation with Mike.
Mike was trying to apologize for pissing me off.
I thought you'd ice him out.
About the out-of-town scores.
Yeah, he was so mad at you.
I'm not mad at you, Mike. I just think you were so wrong.
Wow.
But
Tell us how you really feel.
He's like, are we still friends? I'm like, of course we're friends. You contribute to the show. We all have disagreements. I just thought you were off mark with that. We're going to hear from Kelly McCrimmon next, ahead of round 1. This is the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
You're listening to the VGK Insider Show.
Getting into it, start of the Stanley Cup playoffs in less than 24 hours as we have some Saturday games coming up. Looking forward to the start with the Wild and the Stars, Flyers and the Penguins, along with the Senators and Hurricanes, all opening their series tomorrow. And then Sunday's games will be Utah, Vegas, Kings, Avalanche, Canadiens, Lightning, and Bruins and Sabres, game number 1 there. The Anaheim-Edmonton series won't start until Monday. We are on the eve of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Vegas starts in a couple of days, and to get things ready, General Manager Kelly McCrimmon spoke to the media today for his Round 1 address.
For the 8th time in 9 years, it's hard to do. There's half the league that doesn't get the opportunity. We've been blessed that we've been able to be a playoff team almost every single year of our existence. We won another Pacific Division title, our 5th, which again I think is a good accomplishment for the organization. Happy for the players that we were able to do that. The players have responded well to the coaching change. I think we're playing real good hockey as we head into the playoffs. I think we're we look like we want to look like going into the playoffs. I think that's what you try to do at this time of year. We head into the playoffs reasonably healthy. Everybody that was available for Game 82 will be available to start the series. William Karlsson continues to progress. He won't be available to start the series, but he continues to rehab and make progress. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Dan. Kelly, you touched on it, just the way that the team responded to the coaching change. Obviously, the goal scoring has gone up a little bit more as well. As you kind of look from up top, do you see the way that they've been playing over the last little bit is the good way to play going into the playoffs, seeing how the last 2 postseasons ended with struggling to find goal scoring? Do you think now is a good time that they're playing well to get to that?
Well, I don't know how many conclusions you can draw from it. I think what you've seen is the team has played, very up-tempo. I think the defensemen have been involved in the offense maybe a little bit more than they were. Just an aggressive mindset. I think that's one of the things that Torts has really stressed with the team, and I think that there's evidence that that's happening. And I think with that, just a little more engagement, a little more confidence that comes with playing that way for our players. So, I expect to see us continue to play that way as we head into the series.
Go, Mark, right here. You mentioned Karlsson. Do you think there's a chance he might return if you guys advance deep in the playoffs?
I've said that in the past. Yes. He's progressing. It's a good question. I know it's a question everybody wants to ask, and I'm telling you what I can on it. He's continuing to progress, and he's further along than the last time I saw you guys. That's what I would tell you.
Jesse, your thoughts on Utah as a matchup?
Well, I think Utah have a real good team. They've had a good year. It's an interesting makeup of their roster because effectively they're a team that went through a tremendously long rebuild. They missed the playoffs pretty much for 10 years in a row. They were able to trade players away. They were able to draft some good young players. And then you combine that with the new ownership and the change of venue going into Salt Lake, where the team has been really well received, and it's a talented team. They're well coached. I think that Andre Turgeon, who's one of the longer tenured coaches in the league, I really felt he did a good job in Arizona of that team always having an identity. And as those players have grown up and continued to mature, they're a good hockey team.
Dave, Allen, Daren.
Kelly, obviously you're on teams here that have made deep runs and won a cup a few years ago. What are some of the keys in your mind to going deep into a postseason?
Well, health, depth, goaltending, the discipline, the special teams, those things are always important. But, I just feel good about our team when we've got, pretty good health. I think that's one of the real big things. You have to have the depth throughout your lineup, because for me, when you get to the playoffs, if there's a gap there, that's what will be your demise. If your third line isn't strong enough, or you don't have 4 lines that you trust and can play. I think that the additions we made at the trade deadline have really strengthened up that bottom half of our forward group. I think that Torts has got a lot of trust with those people. You can see how he uses them. So that's helped. I think that our defense, as I mentioned earlier, are a little more involved now. I think that's probably lines up with their skill sets, to the best of their abilities.
Kelly, obviously the coach change drew a lot of attention some 3 weeks ago. I'm just kind of curious, what's your reaction to these comments in the media about, I think one word was ruthless, and the franchise will make any change necessary to win. I was just kind of curious your reaction to that kind of impressions in the media.
Yeah, I don't think that our organization or myself personally are ruthless. We are committed to winning. We treat our people fantastic. The organization treats the players great. I think I've had tremendous relationships with players, throughout my time as a manager. I know that matters to George McPhee. I know that matters to Bill Foley. I think our players appreciate that we do what we can do to win. That's what I feel. They love playing here, and we try to provide them with everything that we can so that we can win.
Two questions, if I could. One, Mark Stone, you've watched him virtually his entire life. How do you compare this season to other seasons that you've watched him?
Might have been one of his best, really. He missed a little bit of time coming out of the Olympic break, but was such full marks for making the Olympic team. I think that he was very well deserving of being representing Canada. Played really well at the Olympics. On a line with Mitch and Sidney Crosby until he was injured. Came back, missed was it 5 games maybe. Missed time in October too. With I think he missed 6 weeks in October. But there's been no gap where I remember when he came back from his injury in October, he was a good player immediately again. There was no delay in terms of him finding his game again, and really with the time he missed after the Olympics, maybe a little bit slower coming back from that, but really playing at a high level again. And I mean, the people in this room know how important he is to our team, just all the different ways he helps our team.
The roster story going into training camp was the acquisition of Mitch Marner, evaluation of his first year in Vegas.
I think Mitch has been fantastic. I think he is a great player. I think he makes our team so much better. He's a great teammate, really well liked by everyone in the organization, and I think he's had a great year. It's different when you look at only the points, which some people like to do. His points are down from last year, and we were having the discussion about it last week one day. Jack Eichel had 36 goals his last year in Buffalo. We had 27 with Vegas the year we won the Stanley Cup. So it's not all points, right? There's just so much to the game. And I think in Mitch's case, the two-way play, everyone in this room's had the opportunity to watch him for a season, and there's just so many things in the game over the course of a night that are so special in terms of what he does with his hockey sense and his skill. He's switched positions. He hadn't been the centerman in the National Hockey League his entire career. He's moved into play lots of center ice. He's played lots of wing, obviously, as well. That's been moving around a little bit under Torts. But, he's a tremendous player.
It was Steven, back to Dan.
I just want to get your thoughts on all three teams here in the organization, ECHL, the Tahoe Silver Knights, and the Golden Knights are all in the playoffs. And just your comments on just the position of the organization where you have all three levels getting ready for playoff hockey.
Well, if you can do it with your American League and ECHL team, it really adds to the development piece. And specifically with Henderson, we've got some players down there that I think have really improved under Ryan Craig. The team's played so well since their All-Star break. Their numbers, it's funny, we talked about it, their numbers are sort of what ours were the year we won the Stanley Cup, where we came out of the break and won like 22-4 or whatever it was. That's the type of run that they're on. They've clinched a playoff spot. They've now clinched home ice. So what we love about it is that's tremendous for the development of the players that we have there. So I hope they can have a long playoff run as well. It's interesting, the last number of years that we've been in the playoffs, the taxi squad started the same day the playoffs started because they had missed. Well, they're playing now, so hopefully we don't have a taxi squad for a while.
Going back to Marner, just now that you've gotten a chance to know him throughout the course of the year, do you get the sense that he's kind of motivated to maybe silence some critics that have talked about his playoff performance in the past? Or
I think some of that stuff matters more to the critics than it does to the people. To the question that was asked earlier about our organization being ruthless. You worry about winning. You just really put your attention to that. And is Mitch Marner excited about the Stanley Cup playoffs? I'm sure he's excited as hell. All of our players are. It's the time of year, right? It's a great time of year.
Let's take a pause if there's any other questions for Kelly. Back to Dave.
You talk a lot about it's your phrase, every horse runs its own race, I think. Yep. How would you encapsulize, I know you're hoping there's still miles to go here, but...
Encapsulate.
Thank you.
Sorry, Ghost.
I went to college.
You're coming at me now, aren't you?
How would you encapsulate how the team's got to this point? I mean, it's been a long road from training camp now to the middle of April and getting to the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that your team year to year is always a little bit different, and we won a Stanley Cup here with a tremendous hockey team. Just love the makeup of that roster. You know what it needs to look like. This team is a little bit different. It's maybe better in some areas. It's maybe different in some others. But yeah, that's where players adjust, they adapt. Torch is putting his fingerprints on how we play in the organization. I think there's a great pedigree in there. I think that those things do serve you well when you get to the different hard spots over the course of a playoff series or hopefully a longer playoff run, where you lean on those people that have got that experience, and that's where character and leadership, those are important traits of any good team. I think we have those in spades. I think that was a big part of why we won in 2023. So you try to have, there's some of those things that are your standards or things that you believe in that you want to have on every team, and yet the makeup of a team year to year is going to be a little different. The makeup of a team year to year, just based on where players are at in their careers as they get older, right? That it changes a little bit as well. So, those are all things that go into it.
General Manager Kelly McCrimmon with his pre-playoff prior to round one meeting with the media today. A couple of things out of there. Just a little more clarification without knowing exactly what the status or return date is, but that William Karlsson has made progress.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think we were all curious about coming into this stage of the season, knowing that William Karlsson behind the scenes has been working towards a return.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of Golden Knights fans are thinking about what that could look like potentially if you get William Karlsson back into the fold, the way that the team finished the season, how you're getting contributions from different areas of the lineup, and then you still factor in that even though the Golden Knights right now are as healthy as they've been really all season long, you're still missing a key player and a key piece in William Karlsson. So the fact that he is further along now than it was the last time Kelly McCrimmon spoke to us in the media, it is a good sign moving forward. Non-committal as to when we might see him, but certainly closer than where we were a couple of weeks ago.
And Mitch Marner coming into this postseason. First year in Vegas, and it has been a seamless transition. And I know Kelly said the points were down, but I think a lot of people's points would be down with this group, how they approach the game, how they play. You're asked to play a full 200-foot game. We all think Jack Eichel could be a 100-point guy. Jack Eichel could push the pace. Jack Eichel would have more than one power play goal, certainly, in a lot of other environments. I think there's a lot that goes with that with Mitch Marner. How would you characterize yourself after hearing Kelly talk about Mitch Marner's debut season in Vegas? And then he's not dealing with 55 years of coming up short in the Stanley Cup playoffs like they all do in Toronto. And wouldn't it be nice if you were able to win? Yeah, it would be nice, but they do carry that around. This a much freer situation in Vegas. Where do you think his excitement level is here a couple of nights, a couple of days away from the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs with his new team?
So kind of to the first question, I thought Mitch was excellent this year for the Golden Knights. And there's an appreciation that you have from watching Mitch Marner night in and night out that I don't think you get when you have, him coming in once a year or twice a year as what we had in him being in Toronto. Like, there are plays that he makes every single night that make you go, wow, what a creative, inventive, smart, responsible hockey player. So I think Mitch has been tremendous, not to mention the fact that he's played down the middle quite a bit here this season. That's not an easy feat for anybody. And to do it and continue to be a point-a-game player, productive the way that he has, just great stuff from Marner. Now, how excited is he for the playoffs? I'm sure he's absolutely chomping at the bit to get going, right? Because to your point, he doesn't have the weight of expectations of, an entire city in Toronto that hasn't won since the 60s. Like, the Golden Knights won a couple of years ago. He should feel a little bit more free, and he's on a really good team that has a lot of players up and down the lineup that can help contribute in terms of winning in the postseason, and they've won recently. So I think it's a great situation for Marner heading into the postseason.
You heard the exchange between Dave Gaucher and Kelly McCrimmon?
Yes. Yes,
which
I did.
Was one of the highlights of the media session.
I will never forget encapsulate.
Nope.
Never.
No. And Dave and I were walking upstairs after. I said, "Hey, don't worry. I got called out earlier this week, like in a fun way, with Krim. I love those exchanges." And so then Dave and I took it a couple of steps further. There's a story that relates to encapsulize and encapsulate.
Okay.
When we continue. But first, coming out of the break, we are going to play the Padda Law Hockey Parlay Contest. We give you 3 games. You pick the winners of all 3 games. You win the jackpot. It grows by $100 every week. We are up to $1,300. For the first time in VGK Insider Show history, we are going to carry this over to the postseason and continue to run it because we did not have a winner and such a large jackpot. We want to make sure that the listeners are rewarded for your dedication and your fun with our show. So we have 3 games coming up. 702-876-1340 if you want to participate. Which caller are we looking for?
Well, caller number 13, obviously.
13. We'll play the Padda Law Hockey Parlay Contest and my follow-up story to encapsulate what happened at the media briefing today. It's the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Now back to the VGK Insider Show.
Looking forward to the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs this weekend. 7 of the 8 series will kick off Saturday and Sunday. Anaheim and Edmonton will play game number 1 on Monday. We are focused on Saturday and Sunday because we are about to play the Padda Law Hockey Parlay Contest. We give you 3 games. You pick the winners of all 3. You win the jackpot. We add $100 every week to the jackpot every time there's not a winner, and we are playing for $1,300. We've never stretched or dipped our toe into the Stanley Cup playoffs before. We've always seemed to time it out where we give away the money in that last regular season week. But this is a little different, and it's a sizable amount, so we want to play the game until we give away the big money. And taking part this week is Dennis. Welcome to the VGK Insider Show, Dennis.
Thank you.
You nervous? $1,300 is getting up there, man.
Yeah, it's getting up there. I want it, though.
Good for you. 3 games. You know how this works?
Yep.
Okay. Ryan's got one question for you before we're allowed to continue on and get into the contest.
All right, Dennis, here you go. Are you a Nevada resident, 21 years of age or older, with a valid Nevada driver's license or government-issued photo identification card and a valid Social Security number?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Well done.
Jered, give him game number 1.
That would be the Boston Brewers versus the Buffalo Brewers. Wow, what is wrong with me? Boston Bruins versus the Buffalo Sabres on Sunday.
We're going to go with the Sabres. I don't know about the Brewers.
Yeah. Just the fact that he called them the Brewers makes you think you're going to go Sabres.
It's a bad omen.
Oh, for sure.
All right, Dennis, I've got the Ottawa Senators at the Carolina Hurricanes on Saturday.
Oh, that's a tough one. I think let's go with the Canes.
Okay. Eastern Conference champions this year. Flyers and Penguins is game number 3.
Oh, it's got to be the Penguins all the way. Got to go with Sid the Man.
All right, that's game number 1. So we've got the Penguins to get by the Flyers, Sabres to beat the Bruins, and the Carolina Hurricanes to upend the Ottawa Senators. So you want to take another look and change any of those?
Nope, we're going to go with that.
All right, $1,300 is yours if all 3 of those results come true. Good luck, my friend.
Thank you.
There's Dennis, the contestant in the Paul Padda Hockey Parlay contest. $1,300.
I'm so glad we had game show music going on underneath all that. Tremendous.
I had no idea the extent of our music catalog until you guys started voicing over promos for the Golden Knights and Silver Knights.
Oh, my gosh.
That blew my mind.
You have to hear the one Jered just did.
Really?
It's so good. It's tremendous.
Jered,
It's
I'm not going to ask
amazing.
you to play it right now, but do you like, is it in production?
Thank you. Someone will reach out if you win.
I think he's still talking to Dennis.
Were you trying to talk to Daren?
I was trying to talk to Dennis to let him know what will happen if he. Well, I'm also trying to text our guest who's coming up at the top of the hour.
Yeah, but we're talking to you about the tremendous production that you just put on earlier today. I got to watch you voice it and put the music to it.
Is it done?
It has not been approved for air.
Okay.
That doesn't mean we could. I mean, we might be able to play it. I'm waiting for approval.
In hour number 2, can we play it?
I mean, might as well. It's a Friday. What are they going to do?
Can you get approval between now and then?
I'm hoping to.
Okay, get working on that. Like, not that you have anything else going on right now.
As we wait, can we just go back to the question that Dave Gosher offered up to Kelly McCrimmon at the end of today's media availability to the general manager of the Vegas Golden Knights?
You talk a lot about every, it's your phrase, every horse runs its own race, I think. How would you encapsulize, I know you're hoping there's still miles to go here, but...
Encapsulate.
Thank you.
Sorry, Ghost.
I went to college.
You're coming at me now, aren't you?
How would you encapsulate how the team's got to this point? I mean, from, it's been a long road from training camp now to the middle of April and getting to the playoffs.
So that went down today, and first of all, a great exchange between Kelly and Dave, and the idea that when Krim said, "You're coming at me now," like that really was showed a sense of humor on both guys' sides, but that was cool to watch happen. But the question itself, encapsulize. So Dave and I are leaving the media session. And we're walking up the stairs, and I said, "Well, Kelly and I had this happen earlier this week, and we had fun. He corrected me on the air, and it was awesome. I stuck to my guns, you stuck to your guns." And Ghosh looks at me and says, "Encapsulize. Like I still think it's a word." I'm like, I do too, Ghosh. I've used that word. I do too. But let's look it up. So by now we're at our desk, and he Googles it, encapsulize, and all we hear from Ghosh is, "Not the first thing that's coming up." Meaning he's wrong. We're all wrong. And Kelly is right. Encapsulate. But we were both sticking to the guns that Ghost was on the right side of this thing. And then he Googles it. Nope. Not the first thing that's coming up.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Just a little levity on the eve of the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the National Hockey League, a couple of days away from the Vegas Golden Knights starting things off. And Ghosh really went after him.
Team's loose, man.
Yeah, you're right.
All the way up to Kelly McCrimmon. It's tremendous.
How do you follow up something like that? A promo. Not even released yet. A world premiere.
It's a debut.
Jered Justice promo. We're looking forward to that. And Megan Chakya is going to join us She is an analytics expert, and she's going to talk about the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the VGK Insider Show, continuing with Daren Millard, Ryan Wallace, Jered Justice on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Live from the Richard Harris Law Firm studios, this is the VGK Insiders Show.
Now they're going to drop the gloves. Kraus and Lozon. Kraus, they square off, now they engage. Left jab, a right cross from Lozon. Kraus just wailing away. Oh! Lozon drops Kraus with one stiff right cross.
With Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Five-time Pacific Division champion Vegas Golden Knights coming up back-to-back Pacific titles, opening up the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sunday at T-Mobile Arena, right on the Strip, hosting the Utah Mammoth, the start of that best-of-7 first-round series between division winner and wild card one. We'll get through all the series as we continue to lead up to the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs, which will kick off with a triple header tomorrow on ESPN. And we're pleased to be joined here on the VGK Insider Show, Daren Millard, Ryan Wallace, by Megan Chakya from Stathletes, who joins us to talk about the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's good to talk to you, my friend.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's been a while. Let's get through some of this from an analytics point of view. Is there a clear-cut favorite entering the 2026 tournament?
Yes, I would say the Colorado Avalanche. They have the most goals per game and scoring chances per game at almost 20. So the offensive contribution from Colorado is it just sort of tilts the scales. And then you look at McKinnon, Makar having maybe some scar tissue from losing the Olympic game. So I think you have revenge and the stats on your side. They'll be really tough to stop.
Is there any reason to think LA, from a data standpoint, and last time I talked to you, we actually would debate data, and because the guys make fun of me because I pronounce it from the Canadian perspective down here. Is there any reason to think that LA, from a numeral side of things, can make a push here?
No, I think LA is going to be very overwhelmed by Colorado, and I think the problem with LA is, you saw Edmonton over and over, and Connor McDavid bit them last season especially. You're going to have a much tighter foe in Colorado. So I would be shocked from a data perspective if they do put a push. But it is a Stanley Cup playoffs. You are playing, playoff hockey, and you never know with injuries and different things that happen in the series. So I don't count any team out. But of all the series, that's the one that's the biggest difference from my data perspective.
Megan Chakya is with us from Stathletes, talking about the Stanley Cup playoffs on the VGK Insider Show with Daren Millard and Ryan Wallace.
All right, let's slide over to the Dallas Stars and the Minnesota Wild. From an analytics standpoint, this feels like a very close series, just from an eye test feel perspective. But what do the stats say?
Yes, this series could be like the Stanley Cup final. It's so close. I don't even think it's fair to put it in round one. It definitely should go deep, whether that's 6-7 games. I have projected for 7-game win by Minnesota. And the Wild, in my models, will win with puck possession. They have the second most 5-on-5 offensive zone possession, which first is Colorado. You got Quinn Hughes that can control a lot and play a lot of minutes, and shot quality, really high and high danger shots. Dallas has more of a shot quality approach too. They get a lot of slot shot attempts. You're going to see them kind of slow down the pace a bit more. But I think it's going to be Minnesota. But that's going to be, one of the best series of the first round because those teams are so evenly matched and they are like superpowers. So to have one go out first round is really brutal.
Who's got the most pressure on them in this series? Jake Ottinger's trying to have a great playoff coming on the heels of his last experience when there was a controversial end to the Edmonton Oilers last year. And then Minnesota bulks up so much with the Quinn Hughes trade that there's expectations on Billy Guerin's hockey club.
I think they both have a ton of pressure. And I think that's when, as a player, you have to look at process versus results. So going into each game, as you have to win those like mini games in the games to just come out with the best chance of getting around these games because, from both sides, there's a ton of expectations. I think they both could go to the Stanley Cup final.
Just saw you on SportsCenter. I don't know how much you're talking about the Golden Knights and Utah Mammoth series, but data can be a funny thing. You've got this great 82-game sample from the Golden Knights, but can you judge them on that, or do you evaluate them on what they've done under John Tortorella, which is 7-0-1? That has to be a challenge.
And you see that coaching bump often. So to do them at the end of a season is sort of a nice way to piggyback into the playoffs. And playoff hockey is different, a different style, different flow. So my simulations do still have Vegas winning in 7, and they can really control that style. That's playoff hockey, forecheck, cycle offense. They're first in inner slot shots per game at over 12. And Utah plays with a lot of speed. They have really good expected goals off the rush. That doesn't happen as much in the playoffs. So some of those assumptions can be like throttled back a bit, knowing that they can't create the same way when time and space are at a minimum. So I do like Vegas, their style of play. They prep very well for the playoffs. And as you know, the President's Trophy, that 82-game winner, largely doesn't win the playoffs.
So how much do you emphasize the regular season compared to the last 8 games, though, Megan?
I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think you have to take that with a broad stroke because, streakiness doesn't necessarily mean that that's a great thing either.
Right.
So you want to sort of peak at the right time. So I think you look at the overall sample size of a large amount because when you get in those high pressure situations, typically people default to their, systems, not to what they're just doing at like a small sample size. So I do think that, you can look at Vegas as being more prepared than maybe they were 10 games ago for the playoffs. But certainly it's a different scenario. There's a lot of pressure, and you're going to see old trends emerge, too, from some of the players. So I think that that's the right call for them. And it's an interesting way to try something different, right? Not a lot of teams are that bold to change coaches at that time.
Megan, when you start to think about the Golden Knights, and obviously Mitch Marner has been a big key for them this season, just in terms of, what he's brought to the table, defensively tremendous on both sides of the puck. When you start to think about Marner in the postseason and, the weight of expectations in Toronto versus here in Vegas, like what are your expectations for Marner in his first postseason here with the Golden Knights?
Well, the way Toronto was built, it was really around that speed and elite level, and he really brought that playmaking bend. But they pushed a lot offensively in Toronto. And so there was an issue defensively of what that looked like, who missed coverage, what that should be as a whole. And I think they never really struck that balance. There was always free agents that kind of came in or, a trade deadline to try to plug some holes to go with a playoff push, whereas Vegas obviously has a different mold that they want to play with under and strategy tactics, and it's reinforced often. So I'm excited for Marner in the playoffs because I do think that he's such a great playmaker, one of the best in the league. He sees passing lanes that other players not only don't see, but they don't have the ability to hit. And then, like you said, he's very good defensively too, if challenged. So I do think within a structure where he can thrive and you can emphasize his strengths, that he really comes through more. And it's a different style of hockey for the playoffs as well. So, on a different team, there's players that, have strengths and weaknesses that you can cover or make a lot more sense. And I think for Marner, Vegas will make a lot more sense this playoffs.
What do your calculations say about the Edmonton-Anaheim set?
I think the Oilers will have a pretty easy time because, the Ducks, they're going to be new, excited. There's a different level, I think, of stress that Edmonton has gone over and over. And I think that they're a much easier matchup than the LA Kings have been for Edmonton in the past.
Right.
More defensive, gritty, hard to find ice, whereas the Ducks like to trade chances. There's a lot of odd man rushes. And for the Ducks, that's really scary with Connor McDavid flying down at you because when you trade chances, you're actually giving them up too. So that's not a good matchup for Connor McDavid. It's a great matchup for Connor McDavid. David, not one if you're seeing him, one of not only the fastest in the league with speed bursts, but also a great playmaker as well. So I think there's a stat where anytime Connor McDavid got a point or there was an Edmonton win this year, Connor McDavid got a point in the game, which has only happened once in the entire history of the NHL, and that was Wayne Gretzky in 1980 and 81 with the Oilers as well. So if Connor McDavid's on the ice for Edmonton, I do not like the chances for the Anaheim Ducks.
That's like game, set, and match, a stat like that.
Yes.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Yeah, you don't like to see that. But I think the expectations are low for Anaheim too. So just to give a win or two will be actually a win for Anaheim, in my opinion.
Megan Chake is with us from Stathletes on the VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas with Darren Millard and Ryan Wallace. Good to have another Canadian on the show, by the way. Eastern Conference, is there a favorite out of those 8 teams?
So to start the season, I had Tampa Bay going to the finals and them actually beating Colorado in the simulations. The ones going into the playoffs,
that was before the season?
Colorado winning. Correct.
Wow.
Yes. I mean, a lot of it was on Kucherov, too, who, I mean, has been on an absolute tear since January 1st. And such a dynamic player. And then also Vasilevsky, having like a classic Vasilevsky, almost plus 18 goals save above expected, meaning there'd be 18 goals extra this season in the NHL if you had an average goaltender. So he's really been lights out. And we know in those 1-goal games, which, 40, 50% of the playoff hockey is 1-goal games, your goalie matters a lot.
What do the numbers say about Carolina, who can get through a round or two, but can't finish it off, but won the Eastern Conference this year? I'm curious to see how you translate the numbers and what the data says.
Well, I have theories. So Carolina is a shot volume team. They have over 80 shots per game, shot attempts per game, and they're very big at driving quality through like tips, deflections. In the playoffs, I think that the slot becomes a lot tighter, harder to get space in there. So it's not as easy to get those deflections, second shot attempts, rebound shots that they do in the regular season over that 82-game stretch. And they also play man-to-man defense. So for them to have a defensive strategy where they have to always chase, I think it's just tiring in the playoffs as well, and typically wears them out in longer series when it gets very, a lot more aggressive and there's a lot more hitting. So there's a few things that I think work against Carolina and how they play, but their style of play over a large body where you have more space and time in the regular season translates well. Now, they do win a lot of puck possession because they have this man-to-man, so they know who needs to track down that player, and they hold them accountable. Rod's very good at that, Brendan Moore. So they have over 28 takeaways per game, and they can limit on-man rushes, but during this regular season, they were the 6th allowed. I like Ottawa versus them for a few reasons. We actually have in our model Carolina in 7 games, but this is one that I think is actually closer than what would be perceived, and they have the most hits in the league. They really limit passes to the slot. Ottawa's Achilles heel is their goaltending. So if Ottawa loses, it will definitely be goaltending related. There'll be that story. Carolina can win. They can beat almost anyone because of their systems, but a lot has to go right for them as well, and they have to get that time and space in the slot.
Okay, good. I like Ottawa in that series, so I'm glad to know that you and I are aligned there to a certain degree. Let's go Pittsburgh, Philly. I mean, it's Sidney Crosby back in the playoffs. It's 2 teams that I don't think a lot of people expected to be in this spot. Is there a favorite in this matchup?
Pittsburgh, I think, should win in 5 games. And there's that Sidney Crosby element, but also special teams where the Penguins are top 10 on the power play, over 24%, and penalty kill over 81%. And the Flyers actually have the worst power play in the NHL. They're 32nd at under 16%. So I think whenever penalties are drawn, you'll see Pittsburgh come out top, and I only think Philly will win 1 game.
Is there a team that could surprise where the data says be wary of them?
I mean, that Buffalo-Boston matchup is interesting because of how good Jeremy Swayman's playing. And I don't like that for Buffalo because I love the Buffalo story. I'm in the arena, right? They're a fun team. They've done a lot right since November 15th. They got defensemen involved. They're scoring a lot. They play off the rush. Their goaltending tandem trio at times has played very decently, but Jeremy Swayman is plus 15 in goals saved above expected. So if you're looking at a Vasilevsky as only 2 extra goals he's stopped, that's a really good for a goaltender. And from that perspective, you're always scared of the hot goaltenders in the playoffs. So I would circle that as a really tough matchup if he's on fire for Buffalo.
Have you told Duffer and Marty that?
No, I haven't. Hopefully they're not listening. Hopefully they're having a break from hockey on the Friday night before the playoffs. So
Megan does a lot of work with the Sabres with Brian Duff and Marty Biron. Hey, thanks for doing this. You know my wife Jen. She loves you. She's a big fan of yours. Really excited and
yes,
proud
please say hi to her.
I will.
I miss you all in Toronto. Yeah,
we miss you too. And thanks for being able to take us inside some of the intricacies of analytics. And can't wait to run across your path again.
Appreciate it.
There's Megan.
Enjoy the playoffs.
You too. We can't wait for it. Megan Chakya from Stathletes, one of the brighter minds when it comes to digging through, compiling the numbers, running those stipulations, which is next step, and being able to translate all the data that comes in. And interesting, some of the things that she was able to talk about, how that Anaheim Edmonton series is lopsided. Colorado, like I like what LA's done down the stretch and being able to get their game in order, but all the numbers say it's a very lopsided series.
Yeah.
And then the Vegas analytics, the fact that it's very two different seasons. You had the Herc Jerky, very talented team, playing good hockey games, not getting the results, and then being able to put their foot down, the pedal to the floor, and roar back and win the final 8 games, 15 of 16 points, and win the division. Like, how do you find a middle ground between 70 games and 10 games?
Yeah, I mean that's the rub, right? Like it's not going to be easy to. I mean, we can look at recency. We can look at what the Golden Knights have done over the last 8 games, expand it out to 10 games if you want to as well. Like, that's totally fine. They are 7-0-3, 10-game point streak, all of those things. But, I think in a lot of ways, like, I don't know that we can kind of put a nice little bow on what the Golden Knights are going into this series against the Utah Mammoth, because to your point and to Megan's, like, you've got a set of analytics where it was up and down, where the results weren't as comfortable or where you expected them to be, and then you've got an 8-game sample size where the Golden Knights a bit more aggressive. Things have been amplified to a certain degree, and they're winning games. So it's somewhere in the middle. I just don't know how much in the middle it actually is, right? Because you've got a larger sample size that tells you one thing, you got a smaller sample size that tells you that they're playing tremendous. I think it's somewhere in the middle here.
Eastern Conference, Tampa Bay is what the analytics say.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised by that.
It sort of tracks.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're going to have a Stanley Cup final and you have to just pencil in a team from Florida, I guess, right? So why wouldn't it be Tampa? I still think Montreal
has the Vasilevsky factor.
Yeah, I mean
that will surprise people who don't pay as much attention to the goaltending side of it, but he's had one of the best seasons in recent memory this year.
Yeah, he's been excellent, and I genuinely or generally default to a goaltender like Vasilevsky. Like, when you start to think about the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Montreal Canadiens, how close they are in certain areas. I know how great of a season it was for Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield can put the puck in the back of the net, but Nikita Kucherov can do all of that himself. And so then you look at Andrei Vasilevsky, and as the Canadiens have stabilized their goaltending, I still don't think that Montreal has a goaltender that can steal a game or steal a series like Vasilevsky can. So I lean more toward Tampa, and I'm just happy that someone shares my affinity for the Ottawa Senators. Because I think Ottawa's.
Well, I don't think you have to look too far to find
good.
people that like the Senators.
That's good. I'm glad that I'm in that boat, because I like Ottawa over Carolina in the first round.
Yeah, Ottawa can play any way you want, and they're one of the teams that I really like out of the Eastern Conference. I don't know why people don't talk about Carolina more, but I do understand that they're easier to game plan in a 7-game series than they are against on a Monday in January. when they just come at you so fast. But if you're able to put a strategy in play and play that team 7 games in a row, you can become tolerant of their approach. So I'm hesitant to go. I think Carolina can win a couple of rounds, but I also love Ottawa and what they've been able to do. Ottawa and Tampa are my 2 teams that I have circled in the Eastern Conference to have success. I'm hesitant to go against a Montreal Canadiens team that's starting a rookie goaltender. They've had
history, not prophecy, Daren.
Some pretty good success.
Yes.
In the past when it comes to rookie goaltenders, handing the reins off to them. So that's one of those, you guys, my ghosts.
Oh, jeez. Come on.
Let's see where it goes. Fowler or Dobush or whoever ends up playing goal, and I think you will see multiple goaltenders from Montreal if they go far. It's a lot to put on somebody in this day and age. But Tampa's all in on Vasilevsky, and I love Kucherov. I love Point. I love the addition of Corey Perry.
Yeah.
Down the stretch.
Well,
Tampa Bay is on a different level than everybody else in the East for me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And again, this is tongue in cheek, but Corey Perry now in the fold, like he goes to the Stanley Cup final every year. So if you're going to have a team from Florida with Corey Perry, you might as well put them in the Stanley Cup final. Come on. Like, let's be real. Did you have any pushback at all on Pittsburgh clearly ahead of the Flyers? Like, are you looking at the Flyers as a team that's got the potential to upset or get out of the first round?
Look, there's the power play being what it is in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to have success in the Stanley Cup playoffs, your power play has to contribute.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of fact that you have to make the other team pay. There's not a lot of penalties in the more in the first round, so that might offer them a chance to find their rhythm. But like 16% in the regular season, if that in higher, harder checking, higher urgency type games, that number is usually going to fall down a little bit. That's where I have trouble latching on to Philadelphia. Now, is there a question mark in goal? Well, Vladar has been good.
Mm-hmm.
It's his first time going through this, and then they're fairly young. I love Martone, the ad.
Sure,
from college. Like, wow, like he is a player that can change their power play.
Mm-hmm.
That's a type of guy that can help out their power play, but they're ahead of schedule. I've talked to their head coach Rick Tocchet numerous times. They're a little ahead of schedule. He wanted to push the pace. And he was told to be patient and has been patient. But I don't know how many people in that organization anticipated them making the playoffs this year. So this is already a victory for them. It's glory's last shot for Pittsburgh, for all intents and purposes, with this group. So there's some motivation there. Pittsburgh's net minding, I have more of a question about them than I do Philadelphia's, and I'm not sure about Philly's.
Yeah, that's fair, right? Like, you've got Archer Shelovs and Stuart Skinner. I mean, listen, Skinner's had some really good moments and some really unique moments in terms of his playoff success with the Edmonton Oilers. So time will tell. I like Pittsburgh in the first round. I don't see them going on a deep run here. I mean, it's hard for me to bet against Sidney Crosby, but I think the Penguins are the team that comes out of that first round series. What about Dallas and Minnesota? Because
flip a coin.
I like Okay, that's fair.
Seriously, flip a coin.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. Like I'm filling out my bracket. I've got the Minnesota Wild in 7 games, but I think the only thing that I know for sure is that it's going 7.
The only reason why you're taking Minnesota is because you have to write down a team.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Like that's as much of a pick'em as I've ever seen. in a series.
I'm actually writing down Minnesota because I like Quinn Hughes. He won a gold medal. A gold medal in the Olympics a couple months ago. Quinn Hughes.
But look at what Dallas has done. 3 straight trips to the Western Conference Final, and they're back again.
Yeah,
new head coach Jake Ottinger. I think there's motivation for Jake Ottinger on this thing.
I agree. It's hard. I'm not writing the Dallas Stars off like to any degree. I just think, there's something about Minnesota. There's something about Minnesota. The big swing by Bill Guerin, going out getting Quinn Hughes, trying to make this team, on par with, what weapons the Dallas Stars have, the Colorado Avalanche have. I'd like to see a little bit of success for the Minnesota Wild.
Both teams can score. And both teams have great goaltending, and both teams have stud defensemen.
Yeah.
On it. Let's take a break. By the way, it's conversations with Megan. The idea that she hadn't shared that conversation with Duffer and Biron, the Buffalo commentators.
Yeah.
That Boston may have a chance. That was funny because she does a lot of work with her friends over in Buffalo. And I forget that my wife is such a high roller in our sport, where she's got these contacts, these relationships with people. And Megan and Jen are good friends, so that's cool to be able to chat with her. And we will take a break. We will come back with one-timers, news and notes from around the National Hockey League, update you on the playoff schedule that is out, and a little bit more news and notes on the eve of the Stanley Cup playoffs. The VGK Insider Show on Fox Sports Las Vegas.
Carlson left corner, centered, one-timer, score!
It's time for One-Timers. A quick look at news and notes from around the National Hockey League, brought to you by Padda Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Got 3 games tomorrow, triple header on ESPN, start of the Stanley Cup playoffs, 4 more series. Drop the puck on Sunday, including the Vegas Golden Knights at home to the Utah Mammoth. And the Edmonton Oilers and Anaheim Ducks round out the series openers on Monday. As we get into it, news and notes from around the National Hockey League on Fox Sports Las Vegas. There's a couple of teams that haven't named their Game 1 goalie starters. Or you don't have an obvious choice. You surprised at that?
Not, I guess
Pittsburgh and Carolina being those 2 teams.
Yeah, listen, I think for Carolina, it's been by committee all season long. As far as Pittsburgh goes,
well, Brandon Bussey's done a great job.
He has, but Frederik Andersen's got a lot of experience at this particular stage of the season. So do you lean into experience? Do you go with the hot hand or the hand that's been most consistent for you this year? I'm interested with Pittsburgh because, again, there's been a lot of success in the postseason for Stuart Skinner, and there's been a lot of turmoil in the postseason for Stuart Skinner. Shelovs has been good at times, but again, experience-wise, Skinner would be the guy. I'm not sure which direction they're going to go.
Would you start with the more inexperienced guy because you've got the veteran to back him up? Or do you take your chance with your experience and then have to turn to somebody that's brand new to this?
I'd probably lean into going with the more inexperienced guy to start. So, if it were me, I'd go Bussey in Carolina and I'd go Shelovs in
That's
Pittsburgh.
the way I think they will go as well.
Because if they falter, then you've got someone that's been through the ups and downs of the postseason before, like Freddie Andersen. You can go back to, and I think it'd be fine. The same thing could be said for Stuart Skinner. He's been in that position as a starter, then lost his net, then got it back again with the Oilers multiple times. So, I don't think Stuart Skinner would be fazed by coming into the series late. So I would lean into the inexperience first, and then if you've got a backfill with your experienced guy, you do it that way.
The Golden Knights practice today at City National Arena. Up-tempo practice. Haven't had a lot of opportunities to have a full practice under head coach John Tortorella. And I don't know whether you were in the room already at the end of practice or whether you saw, how they, at the end of practice, the players gather around center ice. and sometimes it's just player chatter back and forth. Other times the coach will navigate the middle of the ice and talk to the players with some final words. It happened with the coach today, but it happened in a different style. Torts was down on one knee, just like the players having a stretch, but it was his message that was being delivered. And then he stood up and banged the stick on the ice. Like Torts is ready to go here. It's been a while since he's been in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's been a while since he had a team that could legitimately go out there and win. Because his last couple of stops, Columbus, he got Columbus as far as they've ever gone, but it was one round, and they were always the underdog during his time there, and he had some good seasons there, but they were still always the underdog. And in Philadelphia, they were in a rebuild phase. I think that as much as anybody in that room, the juices are going fastest in the head coach right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right on the money. Like, as much as we sit here and talk about how excited Mitch Marner must be to get into the postseason here with the Golden Knights, I think John Tortorella's, like Sunday can't come fast enough for him, right? And you highlighted it. He has won a Stanley Cup before, but that was a long, long time ago with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He has had, teams that he has rebuilt the standard. You mentioned Columbus, like they shocked the world when they were able to beat the Tampa Bay Lightning after a President's Trophy season for Tampa Bay. And that's as much success as Columbus has ever had. It's no surprise to me that's John Tortorella. Philadelphia was moving in the right direction under Torts for sure. And then, but it's hard to get a team from a rebuild into the postseason, into contention, as one guy, one coach. So now you've got the opportunity with a team that's built for this, with a team that's expected to contend, with a team that, you can trust the way that Torts has talked about the Golden Knights. So I'm interested to see what he does with, the keys to that car and how he's able to get it operating at a high speed here in the postseason.
Locker room cleanout day across the National Hockey League for some of the teams that did not make the postseason. Question to Connor Hellebuck today of the Winnipeg Jets. You know what he did at the Olympics, reigning Hart Trophy winner, Vezina Trophy winner. He was asked about what has to happen in Winnipeg going forward, and he said that's a great question for Chevy, the general manager, Kevin Cheveldayoff. From my perspective, complacency is not going to get us moving forward, so something's got to happen. I'm not going to just sit here and throw everyone under the bus. That's not my spot. To just put that same product on the ice, I don't think it worked for a reason. Pretty honest comments from a veteran player.
Yeah, it's revealing, right? And I think it's the right mentality to have. They're a year removed from a President's Trophy, so you got to factor that in. Was it just a down year, or is actual complacency kind of setting in for a group that has had regular season success but hasn't gotten it done in the postseason? You would think that shouldn't be the case. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Winnipeg, but that's pretty illuminating from Connor Hellebuck.
In Vancouver, we've got a change at the general manager's position as Patrick Allvin has been removed. No replacement as of yet. But one of the bigger news happenings coming out of the media availability today from the president of hockey operations, Jim Rutherford. He said that he'd known for quite some time that Quinn Hughes was not staying in Vancouver. In fact, he said he knew before the season started, adding that he pushed the team to re-sign other players before October's puck drop. He said they were hoping for a chance right down to the end that Quinn would decide to stay there, but he doesn't think it was ever in the cards. Not a big surprise there.
No, not at all.
But to come out and say it is confirmation that you don't always get.
Yeah, you're right. It is, and I wish I could sit here and say that that's surprising information, but it isn't. I think Quinn Hughes, the writing was on the wall, and clearly it was, as confirmed by Jim Rutherford. So, now that era of Vancouver Canucks hockey is officially over, and you close the book, and it'll be interesting, again, to see where Rutherford goes in terms of the next hire for general manager.
Hearing a few different names coming out of the Toronto search for a general manager, including Toronto Maple Leaf great Hockey Hall of Famer Matt Sundin finding a management role within the organization.
Well, I think that it's always interesting if you can get a beloved player to come back and they're in a position where they can get the job done or have a fresh set of eyes or whatever the case you need. If you can find success with Matt Sundin, if he ends up getting the job, that might mean more in the grand scheme just because it's been so difficult for Toronto. So it'll be interesting. I'd love to say, yeah, hire Matt Sundin, but it can't be just for nostalgia's sake. Like, he's got to be able to have the vision to deliver that team to contender status the way that they want to be.
I chatted with Chris Pronger today on 100% Hockey podcast with John Shannon.
Jered's really excited about this.
We talked to him. Oh, actually, but we did get into some of his book.
Okay.
And his book is fantastic. And from the little bit that I've been able to read into it. But there was that excerpt about how he signed the 5-year contract with Edmonton, but he was drunk at the time.
Yep.
And then woke up the next day. His wife said, "What?" But the news coming out of it was that former Edmonton general manager Kevin Lowe went off on Prongs on Twitter or LinkedIn or something like that about that book excerpt.
Really?
And, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Prongs is like, has he read the book? It was a book excerpt that the publisher puts out. They're trying to sell books. They're going to put out the certain things that make people buy books.
Yeah.
He should have read the whole quote, and he would have got a much more acceptable version of my events. Now he doesn't deny the being drunk, signing the contract, all that kind of stuff. But
sure,
it wasn't a slag on Edmonton.
No, not at all.
So the back and forth. But we did conclude was Kevin Lowe may have done more for book sales for Chris Pronger's book than any amount of advertising could have done.
That's amazing. Awesome. I mean, I don't know. The excerpts that I read from Chris Pronger made it very clear that Chris Pronger's the guy that made a mistake. That Chris Pronger's the guy that probably should have just said, you know what, let's pick this up in the morning.
No, it was about the fact that it made it sound like you only would have signed if you were drunk in Edmonton. That's where Kevin Lowe was.
That didn't come across at all, though.
We also think that now because of this renewed rivalry, because Prongs asked out there from there after a year.
Yeah.
And it wasn't pretty. And after a year in which they went to the Stanley Cup final.
Right.
So it kind of let the air out of that enthusiasm. But because this has been reignited, this rivalry, I suggested to Prongs that he drop the puck for Game 3 between Edmonton and Anaheim in Anaheim.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, give me all of that.
Find a way. Talk to the owners, Samuelis. Find a way to make that happen.
Yeah, if I'm the Ducks, I've got Pronger on speed dial right now. Like, let's go. Amazing.
I got him on speed dial. Do you want me to call him?
Yeah, call him right now.
No, I'm not gonna
No, pick up the phone. Call him right now.
He was.
Jered says he'll book Pronger next year.
Well, Jered, you book great guests.
That then immediately into the interview, you go, "Hey, buddy, it's been a couple months since we talked," and I'm like, I had to call in favors to get their number.
Hey, close personal friend of mine.
Yeah, and Darren's like, "Why'd you call in favors? I know that person." And I'm like, I don't know who you know.
No, I think you do a great job just because I end up knowing them. Look, there's not a lot of people nowadays that I don't know. We'll say that. But I don't know where you guys want to go. And so I love that you book guests. And and come across these the connections to these people. Like Rupper and I, he was on a couple of weeks ago. We've done outdoor games together. It's a lot of fun. Prongs I've known for forever. Megan is a cool person. Who else? Oh, Dregs.
Yeah.
We had Daren Dreger on. Now Dreger, that's a different one. Dreger and I lived together. We were roommates.
Close friends.
This is like the time I was producing a morning show here in town, and I found out that one of the co-hosts was best friends with Buster Only, and we couldn't get him on the show. Like, they're texting each other about their kids, and literally, oh no, he doesn't want to come on.
Seriously?
What? They're your best friends.
I mean, standards maybe. I don't know. Don't ask me.
I'll give you an idea. Like, Alec Martinez, would you like to have him on?
Yes,
I'm working on getting his number.
Okay, so book him, or else I can book Marty if you want.
No,
it's a challenge.
It's now a challenge.
Challenge accepted for Jered. Not for me.
I'm going to go through his YouTube page.
You're right. He's got the AM Rewind. The book, by the way, Pronger's book is called "Earned: The True Cost of Greatness from One of Hockey's Fiercest Competitors." He's got a couple of books in him to come. But I did talk to him about the general manager rumors.
Okay.
He did talk to one team.
Oh,
Not
okay.
a formal interview, but he did talk to one team through intermediary. And they kind of decided it probably wasn't the right fit.
Okay.
But he's not denying that he'd like to be a general manager, but he's not going to take over a team just to take over a team.
Sure. It's got to be the right fit.
For both sides, right?
Yeah, 100%.
What else do we got going on?
Jered's got his promo.
Right. So Jered, I've heard about this promo. I've not heard it, but we've had some fun in the last couple of weeks about the expanded music catalog to our hockey promos, whether it's Silver Knights or Golden Knights. Do you have access to a promo that has yet to make its on-air debut?
Yes, I do.
When did you voice this?
Today at around
3:15.
Okay. We have 90 seconds of the show, and we are going to use 30 of them for.
This is a worldwide debut of Jered Justice's new hockey promo.
Oh, it's not hockey.
Go.
The Nighthawks have come home to roost after their road game in Texas, and they'll be hosting the New Mexico Chupacabras Saturday at 6. Now you might ask, what is a Chupacabra? Well, let's just say if you do an image search on the internet, prepare to feel a little queasy. While if you do the same for a Nighthawk, prepare to be inspired. Regardless, tune in to hear Ben Wilson on the call Saturday at 6 on 1230 The Game.
All right, so that's for the Nighthawks. I apologize. Did you know the music was like that when you voiced it?
I put the music underneath it because
we had a conversation about the promo, and I'm like, oh man, there's a flamenco guitar for sure in our future. And Jered, you got full reign on this, right?
So you went inflection first and then added the music, or you had the music and that inspired the inflection?
I will say that there is a clean version of this.
Dry version.
There is a version of this that doesn't have this voice in it. But once we were talking about it, we were like, it's perfect.
So you put that accent, that inflection on.
Yes.
Well, yeah, they're coming from Texas. They're going to New Mexico. They're going to fight
the other promo that you did worked perfectly, but you didn't know that was happening. So this one you were aware of the tunes.
You got to lean into it.
Yeah.
Boy, did you lean.
Dude, that was good. I'm not kidding you. I like that. The entire idea of a promo is to get people's attention. And that does everything and gets the information across. I love that, Jered. I couldn't pull that off. I don't know what a Chewbacca is. Wasn't he the guy wasn't that the guy that rode beside Han Solo? No? Enjoy the Stanley Cup playoffs, everybody.